نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد فقد قال الله تعالى في القرآن المجيد والفرقان الحميد بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يوم تجد كل نفس ما عملت من خير محضرا وما عملت من سوء تود لو أن بينها وبينه أمدا بعيدا ويحذركم الله نفسه والله رؤوف بالعباد صدق الله العلي العظيم. My dear respected brothers and sisters, all praise to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who has given us this wonderful opportunity again to take part in this advice, these nasiha in this channel of mine called Inspirational Deen Talks. I cannot be more than grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving me this opportunity to be able to sit down and address the audience with some soul-searching advice, some soul-searching inspiration that makes us, hopefully, that when these talks are listened to, and from the beginning, all my volumes, this is episode 5 or 6 by now, if you've watched all, that by now you start feeling it in your soul that I need to change my life around. This is all the objective is of all these episodes. Although we will evolve and go into many different topics, Mera Sheikha Maqsadta in the beginning, I never understood Abdul Hamid Saab's wisdom in the beginning. In Darul Azadville in South Africa, I never understood in my first and second year, third year there, that he's always talking about the muhabbat of Allah, the muhabbat of Allah. When you have the muhabbat of Allah instilled inside of you, everything else falls into place, and then you can address the other matters because you've taken care of the core matter first. दिल के अंदर जब खुदा की वहदानियत की मोहब्बत आ गई तो फिर सब कुछ automatically हम address कर सकते हैं. When you have the love of Allah, the wahdaniyat of Allah's love, only Allah's love, the purity of that love inside of you instilled in your heart, then it will conquer every other thing. You can address all your problems after that. Then after that, you can have your wife's love, you can have your children's love, you can have your family's love, your parents' love, everything else in your heart after. But the first thing, I'll tell you something. When my daughter was small, all of us as parents, we try to teach our children that love papa or love mommy, right? Who do you love the most? So we always try to see if our kids are going to say that I love you most, daddy, or I love you most, mommy, right? I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I always instilled in my kid, Sarah, I always made her understand that Allah ki mohabbat pehle hai. That I always used to make her understand this. That who do you love the most? And she used to say Allah. I made her understand to say Allah first. Who do you love the most and who loves you most? Who loves you most? Allah. Who do you love the most? Allah. Then after, parents. We're secondary. Allah's wahdaniyat. Allah's primary. I made this effort to her. Because as parents, we teach our children to love us. Teach your children to love Allah first. Once their yaqeen is built in Allah, then everything will fall into place. The obedience will become natural. Because Islam and the wahdaniyat and the muhabbat of Allah teaches us to be obedient. We all want to be someone to be obedient to us. However, we don't want to be obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How does that work? We want an obedient wife. People come to me all the time, Sheikh, give me some wazifa or du'as that my wife will be obedient to me. Like I said, that's another topic altogether, right? I completely disagree with that. But we come and we ask for Mashaykh, Mufti Sahib, can you give me some wazifa, right? That or some pani ke upar dam karke, so that my wife be obedient. But are you obedient to Allah first? If you're obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, your life will be of subserviency. Allah will make everything fall into place. She will be obedient to Allah, your children will be obedient to Allah, all of you will be obedient to each other. Like this, obedience requires obedience together. When you're not obedient, then everything else falls apart around you. In this ayat that I read, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ne kya kaha? Ke kiyamat ke din, he's talking about about the day of judgment, right? We all have to go in front of Allah on the day of judgment. Nange hoke, nude in front of Allah and be reckoned for what we've done. In this month of Ramadan, make it that you don't let this month go without maghfirah. Every day, the angel comes down and asks, Allah pooch rahe hai. Who wants forgiveness? Who wants forgiveness? Who wants forgiveness? This is the objective of coming into life, that we get forgiven and we leave this life. I've said this in my first lecture, right? My first episode that I started. The objective of life is that we come into this world, we do what we're supposed to do, get forgiven for the wrongs that we did, and we exit this world. So that we leave the least amount of foot trail. Not noticed, not known. When you're walking through a danger zone, you stay as quiet as possible. If you're walking through the mountains where you know there's wolves and bears, you keep as quiet as possible so least amount of trail is left, least amount of noise, and then you exit and go. We should come into this world and leave the least amount of footprint that we could behind, carbon footprint of ourselves, that when we exit the dunya, hum chale bhi gaye Allah ke paas. And we're living our lives happy in Jannat, where there's no bills, there's no reckoning, there's nothing to worry about. You don't have to wake up and go to grocery shopping. You don't have to worry about gosht pakana. You don't have to worry about cooking, cleaning, nothing. You just wake up and enjoy every single, it's a permanent holiday. Permanent holiday. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says though about this, that permanent holiday I'm speaking about, it requires an effort. يَوْمَ تَجِدُ كُلُّ نَفْسٍ مَا عَمِلَتْ مِنْ خَيْرٍ مُحْضَرًا. That the day will come when every soul will find what he has done. Achai ya burai, the good and the bad, it will be presented before him. Right? Min khayrin muhdara wa ma amilat min su'. The bad will also be presented in front of you. Tawaddu law anna bainaha wa bainahu amadan ba'ida. Now you will wish that you could have distanced yourself from that evil that you did. With a great distance, not just a little bit. You wish that you could have pushed it right away. I didn't do that. I didn't do that. At that point, it's too late now, though. وَيُحَذِّرُكُمُ اللَّهُ نَفْسَهُ. And Allah warns you of Himself. وَيُحَذِّرُكُمُ اللَّهُ نَفْسَهُ. Allah is warning you of Himself being present on that day in front of you. हम अल्लाह के पास कैसे जवाब देंगे? हमारे गुनाहों की कैसे हम जवाब दे सकते हैं खुदा के पास? I've said this. With what audacity? How do we stand in front of Allah and how are we going to be reckoned? We think we're not going to be reckoned because of our iman? No, हमको जवाब देना है. But wallahu ra'ufun bil ibad, and Allah is kind to His servants. This is why we read in the dua. Hazrat used to tell us, رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ وَقِنَا عَذَابَ الْقَبْرِ وَاحْشُرْنَا يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ مَعَ الْمُتَّقِينَ وَمَعَ الْأَبْرَارِ. The رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيا حَسَنَةً, the 7 hasanat. رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيا, the 7 hasanat in the dunya. وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً, and the hasanat in the akhirat, we're asking one of these hasanat that, Ya Allah, don't ask us any questions in the akhirat and just let us go to Jannah. Ameen. May Allah make it easy for us. Allah के पास जाना है. हम सबको अकेला हमारा जवाब देना पड़ेगा हमारे हर एक गुनाह का. If Allah has to open our book of deeds on any one given page and ask us, so why didn't you read namaz on this day? There is no amount of time in the world that where you're just like, okay, you know what? I didn't have an answer for you. It's 1 hour, 2 hours have passed. Okay, let me go. Allah will wait for an answer. What answer will we give to Allah? सोचो इसके ऊपर हम क्या जवाब देंगे हमारे खुदा को कि मेरे या अल्लाह, I don't know why I didn't read the namaz. And if Allah is naraz with you on that day, फिर हमारा हालत क्या होगा? There's no lawyer, there's no interceder, nothing can come between you and your Rabb. He is your Khaliq, your creator. जिसने आपको हयात दिया, breathe life into your soul and sent you down into this dunya. He's reckoning you now. What do you think you can get away? With what audacity do we do these guna? We live life of sin like it's unreckoned. And if we go and fall into Jahannam, whose fault is it? Not shaitan. Don't blame him. Blame yourself. I read an article of great importance this week, and it says, if you do anything wrong in this month of Ramadan, don't blame shaitan, blame yourself for everything that you did wrong. Because shaitan is already locked away. Obviously, the smaller shayateen are still on the loose, but they have no real power over you. The main shaitan's force is gone. So anything you do wrong, it is your nafs. Your nafs is corrupt. When your nafs is rusty and salted and sour, this is what you do then. You do all guna actions, even in Ramadan. Be sharam, be haya. You have no kind of shame, no kind of haya inside of you left. Allah hum sabko maaf farmaye. Allah forgive us all. It's not a small thing to think that, you know what, it's okay, Allah will forgive me. Allah will forgive me. No, हमारा काम है रोना अल्लाह के सामने तो सजदा के अंदर और दो जलसा के अंदर बैठ के तौबा मांगना. Our job is to get into sajda, put our head on the ground and cry and sit in jalsa position and make dua and ask Allah for forgiveness. That, Ya Allah, mujhko maaf farmaye. A time will come when you keep asking for this. Either you will or you won't. But if you do, automatically your body will start triggering a reaction to want to wake up on time, tahajjud time, because you're now in love with Allah so much. You'll want to go, I can't miss my tahajjud. I can't miss my awabin. I can't miss my nawafil. Automatically, these things will become of importance to you and everything else will become non-important to you. Because when you make Allah and His ibadat your important things, everything else is okay. It's going to be okay. लेकिन आज हम दुनिया को number 1 बना दिया और अल्लाह को secondary बना दिया. We've made Allah number 2 and made dunya number 1. This is big guna. Gunai kabira is big guna. This is like shirk almost. We don't even know we're doing it. We have to fix ourselves. Stop, and fix yourself before we keep going forward in the same repeat pattern and seeing the same result. Common sense tells us, right, that if you applied something to your life or to an equation and it didn't work, why keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result? You're not going to get a different result. However, you step back, you analyze the situation, and then you try again. Now you get a different result. So, with our life, it's time you take a step back if you're not living the righteous life. Analyze the situation and rectify that before it becomes too late and Malikul Maut comes and takes our ruh out. At that last breath, when your ruh is leaving, your eyes will see your soul come out. Either maar ke le jayenge Israel al-Islam. Either it will be beaten and taken out of us, or it will be taken out of us with glee and happiness. It's your choice. I can't make that for you. Your spouse can't make that for you. Your children can't make that for you. Nobody, not your parents, nobody can make that for you. And no one can intercede on your behalf, no matter how much you guys are loved each other and how much affectionate you are and how much unified you are. Nobody can intercede on your behalf. Maut ke waqt akela jana hai qabr ke andar. We have to go each one by ourselves and spend the first night and our eternity in our grave by ourselves. My ustad back home, Sheikh Ibrahim Bana in Barbados, he is in charge of the mayyat from the minute the person goes into sakrat till the person dies, till the person goes into the qabr. He has seen so many people in their qabr. I think of him all the time, that imagine how many people he's put into the qabr, and he thinks of it himself. This has drawn him close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because the reality of the qabr is a permanent home. It will stop you from laughing and enjoying life permanently. Not that it's haram to enjoy life, but it will put a stop to you wanting to live a life of sin. You will constantly have tawakkul and taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because हमको फिर qabr ki maut, qabr ki zindagi ki तैयारी करना पड़ेगा. To prepare for the life of the akhirat is not a small thing. So, agar हमको, if you know that you're going to by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you're going to return home, why live a life of permanently sinning and acting like there's no retribution? Our time is running out in this world very quickly. Every single day we're running out of time. Maut kab aayegi? Humko pata nahi. We don't know. Today, tomorrow, any day. Don't expect you to get gray, old, on a walking stick, and then you're going to die. That's a vision and fantasy. That's not reality. Today, people of 20, 15, 18, any age, Malikul Maut does not have a race, gender, type, anything. He does not care if you're a he, a him, she, a her, a they, them. He does not care anything about these things. Malikul Maut cares about one thing, your ruh. Khalas. Whether you are anything, a binary, a non-binary, whatever you are, your ruh is still your ruh. It has to come out. You're not special and unique in any other way. That when the ruh comes out, you're done. You going in the same place where all of us go. In the qabr, khalas. Your ruh now has to be reckoned by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah hum sabko tayyari nasib ata farmaye, unke paas aane ka. All of us, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for us that we prepare ourselves in this world, that we find it in ourselves that we learn to make tawbah and we learn to ask for forgiveness correctly and we build that connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala कि वो दिन जब आएंगे and we return unto Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and our sins are presented, Allah will say, it's okay, I forgive these already. Shh, I forgive them. And we find Him in front of us, maaf hoke, merciful. He's looking at us. He says, तूने मेहनत किया, मैं आज आपको बतलाऊंगा. You made an effort. Today I'm going to show you. I'll forgive all your sins and I'll send you to Jannah without reckoning. This is what we want to hear. Because if we get reckoned, I tell you, qasme kuda, this is qasam of Allah. We won't be able to answer for what we've done wrong. हमारे जितने भी गुनाह हो गए, हम जवाब नहीं देंगे कि क्यों हमने ये गुनाह की. क्योंकि अल्लाह ने हमको बहुत नेमत दी. فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. कितने नेमत की हमने झूठ बोल के हमने कहा कि नहीं है हमारे पास नेमत. अल्लाह माफ़ करे हम सबको, हमारी दुआओं को कबूल नसीब अता फरमाए. Allah forgive me, forgive all of us, accept our duas in this month and make us all righteous on the steadfast path and make it easy for us to see through this month of Ramadan and that we get forgiven all the way into the last day before Eid, and after Eid we live a righteous life permanently. May Allah make it easy for all of us to accept this message, that it go deep into our soul and that we start, it impacts our life. Jazakallah khair wa akhiru dawana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.